The clock on your wall is not the one you should fear. It is the rhythmic thinning beat of a heart that has already seen 65 winters. Every beat today requires more effort than it did 20 years ago. Your arteries are becoming rigid pipes instead of flexible pathways for life. Modern medicine calls this aging, but it feels more like a slow, quiet surrender. In your 70s, the margin for error narrows to a razor's edge. We are told to accept the pills, the fatigue, and the inevitable decline. But across the Pacific, a different story is being written in the cells of the elderly. In the blue zones of Japan, 90-year-olds possess hearts that behave like 40-year-old engines. They are not escaping biology, but they are outsmarting the systemic decay we find normal. For someone past 65, the American diet is a sophisticated trap designed for convenience, not survival. It coats your valves in calcium and floods your blood with silent inflammation. You feel it when you climb the stairs or try to keep up with your grandchildren. That tightness in the chest is a signal that your biological infrastructure is failing. But you do not have to be a victim of your own geography or your birth year. There are 7 specific molecular keys hidden in the traditional Japanese pantry. These are not just ingredients. They are precision instruments for vascular restoration. They target the very mechanisms that fail once you reach your 70s. If you are over 65, the next 10 years will be decided by what you put on your plate today. Your heart is waiting for a reason to keep fighting against the clock. The first secret is found in a substance that many Westerners find unappealing and strange. It is called Natto, a fermented soybean dish that holds a powerful enzymatic secret. Inside these sticky beans lives Nattokinase, an enzyme that dissolves fibrin in the blood. For those over 70, fibrin is the glue that turns small clots into life-altering events. In Japan, this is the primary tool for keeping blood thin without the bruising side effects of pharmaceuticals. It acts like a biological drain cleaner for your circulatory system. As you move past 65, your blood naturally thickens and becomes more prone to stagnation. Natto forces the liquid of life to flow with the ease of use once more. Studies show that consistent consumption can lower blood pressure more effectively than some common prescriptions. It is a quiet revolution happening in your veins. Nattokinase works by directly breaking down the mesh that holds blood clots together. For a heart in its 70s, this reduces the pressure needed to move blood through the body. Think of it as removing the sludge from an engine that has been running since the middle of the last century. Your heart can finally relax its grip on your survival. Next, we must look at Miso, the fermented paste that forms the backbone of Japanese longevity. Many seniors fear the salt content, but the science tells a different story. The fermentation process changes how the body perceives sodium, protecting the delicate lining of your heart. It introduces beneficial bacteria that communicate directly with your cardiac nerves. In your 70s, the gut-heart axis becomes the most important highway in your entire body. If the gut is inflamed, the heart will soon follow into a state of chronic distress. Miso provides the probiotics necessary to keep the walls of your intestines from leaking toxins into your blood. These toxins are the primary drivers of arterial scarring in older adults. For those over 65, a single bowl of miso soup is a protective shield against systemic oxidation. It calms the biological fire that threatens to consume your vitality. The Aspergillus oryzae culture used in miso production creates unique peptides that inhibit ACE activity. This is the same mechanism used by blood pressure medications, but without the risk of kidney strain. When you are past 65, protecting the kidneys is just as important as protecting the heart. Miso offers a symbiotic solution that the industrial food complex cannot replicate. Then there is Matcha, the vibrant green tea powder that contains a concentrated dose of EGCG. These catechins are the master cleaners of the cellular world. As you reach your 70s, your cells accumulate waste products that slow down your metabolism. Matcha triggers a process called autophagy, where your body eats its own damaged parts. This cellular recycling is vital for maintaining a heart that can handle stress and exertion. It clears the debris that leads to heart failure and chronic fatigue. For someone past 65, switching from coffee to matcha is like upgrading your fuel system. It provides steady energy without the jagged spikes that strain an aging heart. The catechins in matcha also help to keep the endothelium, the inner lining of your blood vessels, smooth and flexible. Flexible vessels mean lower pressure and a longer life for your cardiac muscle. In your 70s, rigidity is the enemy of survival. Matcha is the lubricant that keeps the machinery of your life moving smoothly. The fourth superfood is the hidden bounty of the sea, various forms of seaweed and kelp. These are dense sources of fucoidan, a complex carbohydrate that fights inflammation. Inflammation is the silent killer that stalks every person over the age of 70. It hardens your arteries and makes your heart work twice as hard for half the result. Seaweed also provides organic iodine, which regulates the thyroid and, by extension, your heart rhythm. A steady rhythm is the difference between a long life and a sudden end. If you are over 65, your mineral stores are likely depleted by decades of modern agricultural practices. Seaweed replenishes these essential elements with biological precision. It binds to heavy metals and ushers them out of your system before they can damage your cardiac tissue. It is a deep-sea detox for a body that has seen too much of the modern world. Magnesium, found in high concentrations in seaweed, is the master mineral for heart relaxation. Without it, your heart stays in a state of perpetual, exhausting tension. In your 70s, this tension leads to arrhythmias and sudden heart failure. Seaweed provides the mineral valves that let your heart breathe again. The fifth key is found in the deep forests of Japan, the Shiitake and Matake mushrooms. These are not merely food. They are biological response modifiers. They contain beta-glucans, which train your immune system to stop attacking your own healthy tissues. This is crucial for preventing the autoimmune-driven heart damage common in your 70s. These mushrooms also lower LDL cholesterol by preventing it from being absorbed into your bloodstream. They act as a natural filter for the fats that would otherwise clog your valves. For those past 65, maintaining clean pipes is a matter of daily survival and long-term independence. Shiitake mushrooms provide the structural support your heart needs to stay strong. Eritadenine, a compound found only in these mushrooms, accelerates the processing of cholesterol in the liver. It ensures that fat is used for energy rather than stored in your arterial walls. If you are over 70, your liver needs all the help it can get to process the toxins of modern life. These mushrooms are the specialized technicians your internal organs have been waiting for. The sixth superfood is high-quality tofu and edamame, the pure forms of soy protein. For those in their 70s, maintaining muscle mass is the key to supporting the heart's workload. Soy isoflavones act as gentle regulators for your hormones, which often crash after the age of 65. When hormones fail, the heart loses its primary chemical instructions for repair. By consuming these plant proteins, you reduce the workload on your kidneys while feeding your cardiac muscles. It is a clean burn that leaves no toxic residue in your system. In your 70s, the quality of your protein determines the quality of your remaining years. Choose the food that has sustained the longest-lived people on the planet. Soy protein has been shown to reduce the risk of ischemic heart disease in those past 65. It replaces heavy animal fats with structural building blocks that don't clog your system. Your heart is a muscle. Unlike any muscle in your 70s, it requires the right nitrogen balance to stay thick and strong. Tofu provides that balance without the inflammatory baggage of red meat. The final secret is the Okinawan purple sweet potato, a staple that defies the typical high-carb warning. Its deep purple hue comes from anthocyanins, the the same antioxidants found in blueberries. But the concentration in these potatoes is far higher and more stable during the cooking process. These pigments protect the inner lining of your blood vessels from tearing. For anyone over 65, vascular integrity is the front line of the battle against strokes and heart attacks. The purple potato provides the raw materials for a reinforced arterial wall. It also has a low glycemic index, preventing the sugar spikes that caramelize your proteins. This process, known as glycation, is what makes the heart stiff and brittle in your 70s. When you are past 65, your body's ability to manage sugar is compromised. The purple sweet potato provides steady, slow-burning fuel that keeps your heart stable. The anthocyanins actually improve blood flow by signaling the body to produce more nitric oxide. This gas relaxes the blood vessels, allowing for a deep, nourishing oxygenation of all your tissues. In your 70s, oxygen is the currency of life, and many seniors are living in biological poverty. This potato is the investment that pays dividends in every single heartbeat. Eating these 7 foods is not about a temporary diet. It is about a total biological realignment. You are moving away from the industrial trap and toward the wisdom of the centenarians. If you are past 65, you cannot afford to wait for a doctor to give you permission to change. The system is designed to manage your illness, not to grant you a younger heart. In your 70s, every meal is a choice between stagnation and regeneration. The Japanese have proven that the human body can remain vibrant well into its 10th decade. You must become the architect of your own survival in a world that treats seniors as statistics. These superfoods are the bricks and mortar of a heart that refuses to quit. The great tsunami is coming, and the healthcare system is prepared to harvest your savings while managing your decline. You can choose to step out of that cycle today. In your 70s, the most radical act you can perform is to stay healthy and independent. Use these foods to build a fortress that the pharmaceutical industry cannot breach. Start by introducing one of these foods every week until your pantry is a fortress of longevity. Your heart will respond to the nourishment it has been starving for since your 50s. The anxiety you feel about your health is a compass pointing you toward the exit of the health trap. Follow that feeling toward the nutrient-dense wisdom of the East. Being over 65 does not mean you are in the twilight. It means you are in the era of refinement. Refine your blood, refine your arteries, and refine your future. Think of the damage that has accumulated over decades of consuming processed oils and refined sugars. Your heart has been a silent servant, absorbing the blows of a toxic food environment. Now, in your 70s, that servant is tired, and its resources are nearly exhausted. You must provide the specialized molecules that allow for deep tissue repair. Nattokinase is not just a supplement. It is an active janitor for your cardiovascular system. It works while you sleep to ensure you wake up with clear, flowing blood. Matcha is not just a drink. It is a metabolic reset that clears the fog from your cells. It gives your heart the clarity to beat with precision and purpose. For those over 65, the combination of these 7 foods creates a synergistic effect that no single pill can match. They work together to address every facet of cardiac aging. They lower inflammation, balance minerals, clear clots, and provide stable energy. This is the comprehensive insurance policy your heart truly needs. The pharmaceutical companies will not tell you about the power of fermented soy or sea vegetables. There is no profit for them in a 75-year-old with the heart of a marathoner. You must take the lead in your own biological defense strategy. Your life past 65 should be defined by what you can do, not what you have lost. Imagine a life where you don't fear the stairs or the cold morning air. Imagine your heart beating with the steady, quiet confidence of a Japanese monk. This is not a fantasy. It is the documented reality for thousands of people in Okinawa and Nagano. They have cracked the code of heart longevity through the daily ritual of these foods. In your 70s, the ritual becomes the medicine. The act of preparing a bowl of miso or whisking matcha is an act of self-preservation. Every bite of shiitake is a message to your immune system that the fight is not over. Every slice of purple potato is a promise to your arteries that they will be protected. We live in a culture that views 65 as the beginning of the end. But in the East, 65 is simply the beginning of the most respected phase of life. Your heart deserves that respect, and it deserves the nutrients that will allow it to continue its work. Do not let the industrial food complex dictate the length of your story. You have seen the world change, and you have survived the stresses of many decades. Now, in your 70s, it is time to give your heart the reward for its long service. The biological noir of our modern world is that we are surrounded by calories, but starving for nutrients. Break the cycle of starvation and feed the muscle that keeps you alive. The clock will keep ticking, but you can change the sound of the beat. Make it a sound of strength, of endurance, and of a life lived without the chains of chronic decay. You are the only person who can decide if your 70s will be a time of decline or a time of renewal. Choose the path of the ageless heart. Take a moment to listen to your pulse right now. That rhythm is the most precious thing you own. It is a miracle that has functioned without rest for over 6 decades. Don't you think it's time you gave it the best fuel available on this planet? The Japanese secrets are no longer hidden across an ocean. They are available to you today. Reach out and take them. For those over 65, the future is not a predetermined path of pills and procedures. It is a garden that must be tended with specific, potent nutrients. When you reach 70, you realize that health is the only true currency. Invest that currency in the 7 superfoods of longevity. Your heart will thank you with every steady, powerful beat it provides. Your family will thank you for your presence and your continued strength. The system wants you to be a passive consumer of management. I am calling you to be an active creator of your own vitality. Past 65, the small choices are the ones that save your life. Choose the Natto, choose the Miso, and choose to stay in the game. The path to a younger heart is paved with the wisdom of those who have already reached 100. Follow their lead and rewrite the ending of your own story. This is your mission, should you choose to accept it, to defy the statistics and live with a heart of gold. The 7 superfoods are your tools, and the time to use them is now. Every day you wait is another day your heart struggles against the tide of time. Start the restoration process today and feel the difference in your very soul. In your 70s, you have the wisdom to see through the marketing of the junk food giants. Use that wisdom to choose the foods that actually love you back. The Japanese longevity miracle is not a mystery of genetics. It is a triumph of chemistry. Put that chemistry to work in your own body, starting with your next meal. You are over 65, and your heart is the captain of your ship. Give your captain the best supplies in the world. The journey to 100 begins with a single nutrient-dense bite. Embrace the Japanese way and watch your heart find its rhythm again. This is the end of the script, but it is the beginning of your new biological reality. Go forth and feed your heart with the respect it has earned.